ladies and gentlemen, can we be standing as we acknowledge and welcome the Honourable Winston Peters from Aotearoa and his delegation.
Can we move? Thank you.
Let us be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, tātou katoa te tēwai te ariki te pati ana kia orana tātou katoa te ara maatau te tua. Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you here in Rarotonga. In Tupapa Maraerenga, apparently the heart of Rarotonga. I have to say that because my minister comes from here. Before acknowledging and honouring our guests, it is fitting that we first recognise the three enduring pillars of our community, the pillars that uphold and guide our people here in the Cook Islands. First, Uyariki, the House of Ariki, whose leadership and guardianship of our traditions, our lands and our people remain central to the identity and the continuity of our nation. Under the tutorage of the President, Kaumaiti Nui, and Hariki, Yorano Poto i te Popo. Secondly, to the Church, represented among us today by the Oromito Reverend Te Awananai, whose spiritual leadership continues to guide and continues with faith, humility and service. Kia ora koe e te Oromito. And third, the government of the Cook Islands, which carries the responsibility of stewardship, of governance and the well-being of our people today and for the generations to come. Together, these three pillars, the Ariki, the Church and the government, represent the foundations of our society and the values that continue to shape who we are and who we will become. And it is with the spirit of unity and respect that I now extend a warm Cook Islands welcome to our distinguished guests, the Honourable Winston Peters, the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Tēnā koe e te rangatira, e te minita mō ngā kake tāpahi o Aotearoa. Nau mai haere mai ki Rarotonga nei. E tino honore no mātou kia no tahi I tēnei rā whakahirei. Minister, we warmly welcome you to Rarotonga and to the Cook Islands, and it is a great honour to host you again here in the homeland. Before we commence with our proceedings, may I please invite our Oromitua Te Awananai to open us with a prayer this morning.
Your Honor, and greetings to all of us who are here this morning. I fully endorse the formalities that has been conveyed through our MC this morning, so I would not hold us up as long as I would like to, but the psalmist says, this is the day that the Lord has made, we will rejoice and be glad in it. Two things that we see what the psalmist is saying. The first thing that we should be thankful for is the life that God has given us this morning. And secondly, this occasion that we are here to witness. Praise be to God in what He is doing. And word of encouragement from our daily bread reading found in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 27 verse 11 to 26. Now, if we have read our daily bread reading for today, there's a few things going on in our text. The first thing is that Jesus is on trial before the governor, Pontius Pilate. He's been interrogated, he's been accused, and all through this he keeps silent. And then Pilate asked the crowd to make a choice. Hence the title for our short message this morning, Our Choice for Peace. How can we exercise our choice for peace? The first thing that we must do is that we must choose cooperation over conflict. In our text, the crowd had to choose between Jesus, the Prince of Peace, and Barabbas a symbol of rebellion and violence. And under pressure, they chose the path of conflict. Now, when two countries are at odds, there's always a temptation to choose Barabbas, the path of harsh rhetoric, trade wars, or aggression. But we need to restore a relationship that has been strained. Leaders must have the courage to choose the peaceful path, even when the crowd or political pressure calls for hostility. The second thing that we must do is take responsibility over deflection. Pilate tried to wash his hands to show he wasn't responsible for the outcome, yet he was the one with the power to change it all. Diplomacy fails when nations wash their hands of their neighbors' problems or blame the past for current failures. A strong relationship cannot be built on washing our hands of responsibility. Strengthening a bond requires both nations to stop pointing fingers and instead roll up their sleeves to do the hard work of negotiation and mutual support. In conclusion, Pilate chose us his choice. He used his basin as an excuse to walk away. Christ used his cross to draw and reconcile all people to the Father. Now, reconciliation happens when we choose peace and our own part in the solution. To listen to the quiet voice of truth over the loud shouts of the mob. And may I leave this personal question to us today. Who have we chosen this morning? Barabbas or Jesus Christ? Let us pray. Tetua to mato mitua tapu I runga tarangi teitei kia ka mitaki ia koe, no te ora e te mare rui tāu I oronga mai no mato kato toa. Ua rauka te ia tikaanga e te atua I raro I te marumaru o te ia mutuare. No te aka koroanga puopinga I roto pū I te kawamani kuki airani e te kawamani a Aotearoa. Te pupu atu nei mato I te aka koroanga ki roto I tōna rima. Te pure e te pati no te aratakianga a tō ona wairu tapu. No mātou katoa toa, mei te akamatanga e tae watu ki te akautianga. Kia riro te karawi ia e te atua, e a pai mai I te meitaki, no tō mātou iti tangata e pera katoa, no tō mātou Basileia Kuki Airani. Kia riro katoa te reira, e aka mātutu I te pirianga, I rotopu I te Kuki Airani e Aotearoa. Kia aka meitaki ia koe e te atua, no te ia tikanga mania tāu I oronga mai no mātou katoa toa. E kia kaka koe, I roto I te awanganga katoa toa tā mātou kārabi. Me te akamatanga e tai watu ki te akotianga. I roto I ako I Yesu, I kure atu e mātou. Amen.
Amen indeed. Me te kumata e tōna metua nanai, mo tēnā karere tāu. Thank you to our Reverend for the message delivered this morning. I cannot reiterate or resound the sentiments of our people enough as we offer to our delegation from Aotearoa led by the Right Honourable Winston Peters of Warm Cook Gardens. Welcome, sir. Kia ora and welcome again to Rarotonga. Minister Peters, your presence here with us today, this morning, is in itself a statement. It says that this relationship is worth the journey, worth the kōrero, worth the conversations, and worth the care that both our governments have invested in bringing us to this moment. And of course, on behalf of our people, no reira tēnā koe te rangatira, you are warmly and genuinely welcome. Pōkara tātou. Allow me also to briefly go over our list of delegates as well that are here in the House this morning and acknowledge on behalf of our Prime Minister and the government our gratitude for your acceptance of this time to spend with us. To tātou rangomana, te a koe te kauona o te arikitane, to the cabinet ministers who are accompanying our prime ministers this morning, and of course the members of parliament on both sides of the house, to the leader of opposition, Papatiri, kia ora koto katoa toa I te roa maata o te tu. And of course our local dignitaries, the heads of our government departments and businesses and corporate bodies here in Rarotonga and the Painua, kia ora tātou katoa toa. And we acknowledge all the people of the Cook Islands, those who are here in Rarotonga with us in this house, and as well as the 16,000 spread out over our 2.5 million square kilometres, and of course, the nearly 200,000 who are living in diaspora in New Zealand and Australia. This moment is for all of us. Allow me to go through and put some of what's happening today into context. You see, 60 years ago, the Cook Islands chose its own path, not away from New Zealand, but alongside it, as a self-governing people in free association with a friend and a partner we have known for many generations. We step forward to shape and to tell our own story. That choice has been renewed in every generation since, and today it is renewed again, with greater clarity, deeper mutual understanding, and a commitment that reflects who we are both and who we are becoming. Today we chart a shared course, two people, one Pacific, and a partnership that is strong, for having been tested and found to endure. It is now my immense pleasure and honour to acknowledge the occasion of which we're all gathered this morning to witness the signing of a Declaration of Defence and Security between the Government of New Zealand and the Cook Islands. We will now proceed to the signing of the declaration, after which I will invite our Prime Minister, as well as Minister Peters, to deliver formal remarks. I now invite the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, the Honourable Mark Brown, and the Right Honourable Winston Peters, please, to take your places at the signing table. And invite the press, please, to take your places and be mindful of the protocol that we covered earlier. As the Prime Minister and the Honourable Winston Peters are signing the documents, I please ask the two media representatives of Barbara Drever and Rush Neal from Cook Islands News to please prepare yourselves for your question. I'm glad they brought the signing to Rarotonga. Slightly better here than Wellington. Can't beat the weather. I'm sure a few of the suited boys and girls are wanting to get out of their suits, so we'll get this done in dusted city. We're allowing our media an opportunity to complete your photographs. Ke ngā kawari ki nui e o te upukare a tēnā pōti. Pōti te korora motu I te kaira ia. E ngā mana e ngā reo o ngā hau e pā. It is so. The Cook Islands New Zealand Declaration on Defence and Security has been signed on behalf of both our governments and all our people. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Pōkarakara mai tātou katoa. It is now my great honour and pleasure to invite the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, the Honourable Mark Brown, to address us. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency Sir Tom and Lady Masters, I te rawa mana o tātou pāsirea o mai te nui. Kuiari, o tū tātou ino. Tō koto matakainanga, koe matai a kuirana te rāna lawa I te rawa. tātou rapetua ti rawei ta tātou akononga ki te popungi nei e ta au karega ki duru mai koe ki muagi e tātou i te popungi nei. Kia ora nei te rau mātou e. I tō tātou huru minita i roto pui e tātou. Te rapa toa te o mea pāramani tātou. Kia te take o te toa tantan. Te o mea ma roto mai te toa te kawamani kia rana i te popungi nei. Tō tātou o akatere o tātou te paitamani o te kawamani kia rana. A special warm greeting to the Honourable Minister Winston Peters, the Foreign Minister of New Zealand, and your delegation. Special greetings to the Chief of Defence, who is here with us today, Air Marshal Tony Davies, to join us in this signing of this very important declaration that we have before us. Greetings also to our New Zealand High Commissioner to the Cook Islands, Your Excellency Catherine Graham, the entire delegation that has travelled here to Rarotonga from New Zealand. A warm welcome to you all. Tātou kōrua, ki tōpiri mai ki tia kōrua nei tia pōpui nei kia rana rawa tātou i te rau mātou te. Key moments in the journey of a nation arrive by steady navigation, by clear hearts and minds, and through the upholding of values that define us. Today we have arrived at such a moment. As a people, we are defined by our Christian values of service, compassion, humility, and integrity, alongside our cultural history as navigators and innovators. Our ancestors read the stars and the seas and chose always to move forward. And it is in that spirit that we signed this declaration. Good relationships, like good navigation, require periodic reckoning and honest reading of where we are so that we can chart the course ahead with confidence. That is what both our governments have done. And I want to acknowledge the genuine spirit of goodwill and good faith with which we have entered into this process. It is not a small thing to engage in a conversation about the shape of a relationship that you have long valued. And we are grateful for the courage, and we meet it with our own. The Cook Islands is a self-governing state with its own international personality and its own development priorities. These are not claims that we make against anyone. They are simply the foundation on which a genuine partnership must rest. And New Zealand, to its credit, has always understood this intrinsically. What today's declaration achieves is the translation of that principle into practice. Distinct from our self-governing status is our free association with New Zealand. Free association at its heart, a relationship of mutual choice and one that we value genuinely. But free association, properly understood, is a relationship between equals who have chosen each other, not a hierarchy dressed in the language of kinship. Its strength derives precisely from its voluntary character. We choose each other for the genuine bonds of culture and family that cross the moana nui o kiwa, for the values that we share, and for the practical cooperation that benefits both our peoples. The declaration before us affirms the Cook Islands executive authority over our islands and EEZ, and that the Cook Islands conducts its international relations in its own right, and that our ongoing consultation reflects the depth of our regard for one another as a practice of partnership, not a condition. While this declaration looks to the future, let us not forget the sacrifice of those who came before. This declaration honours the generations of Cook Islands men and women that served and wore the uniform. For over 120 years, when the call was made, we answered. From the 500 in World War I through to World War II, to Vietnam, Kuwait, Iraq, Afghanistan. we have carried our share in the defence of the realm, and we have paid in blood, sweat and tears. And we continue to do so today with Cook Islands men and women serving in the armed forces of both New Zealand and Australia. And speaking of wearing the uniform and contributions, when the call did come out, I was very pleased to see that one of our very own answered the call and is now the coach of the New Zealand All Blacks. Ladies and gentlemen, no sovereignty is complete without economic expression. Today's declaration establishes that New Zealand's development support will be channeled through frameworks jointly designed and governed with priorities set by the Cook Islands in alignment with our National Sustainable Development Agenda. This is the gold standard, not only for official development assistance, but for partnership grounded in mutual respect and an awareness of shared interests. We also affirm today that the Cook Islands will continue to build relationships across our region and beyond, as every state does. These relationships complement our partnership with New Zealand. A Cook Islands that is deeply connected, well-resourced, and confident in its place amongst nations, is a stronger and more capable partner for New Zealand. We will continue to build partnerships wherever they serve our national interest, in full transparency with our partners and with our values as our guide. To the people of the Cook Islands, this moment is yours. Every insistence on language that reflected and protected your status was done in your name. Your government is committed to do right by you. This declaration is a constructive measure to align with the long-term national goals and our future. You deserve a country that stands in the world on its own terms. You are the descendants of the greatest navigators in human history, a people who crossed the largest ocean on earth with nothing but knowledge, skill, and courage. That is who you are. That is who we have always been. We carry that knowledge forward today, not just as heritage, but as instruction. We know how to find our way. We know how to voyage in partnership. And we know how to arrive. Minister Peters, we are extremely grateful and thankful for your presence here and for what it represents. The deepest respect we can show a partner is to engage with them honestly, and we are engaging with you. We signed this declaration as a new foundation, built on clarity, on mutual acknowledgement, and on the shared belief that two nations, different in size, but equal in dignity, can build something genuinely worth investing in. The stars that guided our ancestors across Te Moana Nui o Kiwa still shine today. We know how to read them, because ko ki te o I tōku tura, e awai ki tōku. I know who I am. I have a homeland. This declaration is our shared commitment to the best of what our relationship can be. Respectful, reciprocal, and enduring. Kia ora ana, kia ora, te manuia rā.
Thank you, Prime Minister. It is now my very great honour to invite the Right Honourable Winston Peters, New Zealand's Minister of Foreign Affairs, to address us. Minister, when you're ready.
Your Honour, thank you, Prime Minister Brown and your government for your welcome to us here in Rarotonga today. I'd also like to acknowledge you, Riki, and representatives of the Church who are present here, just to remind us who's running the show on earth? We are a close family. Our links are intertwined and ancient. Our first settlers share the same DNA. Having left, or being kicked out. The Cooks over 800 years ago, our shared DNA was evoked some decades ago in an extraordinarily meaningful way when arriving in Rarotonga, Cook Islands Prime Minister said, his name was Sir Tom Davis, said, meetings, he just simply said, welcome home. Meant one hell of a lot, frankly, from him to us. This has caused unnecessary anxiety, you know, when we think about it. We are the Cook Islands people, very close in many ways to New Zealanders. They're always in our heart. There's been some recent ups and downs between our governments. In the last couple of years, we have worked through a series of disagreements, and they've been challenging for all of us. As I said, it's caused anxiety and uncertainty. So it's with considerable satisfaction that we stand before you today with some excellent news, announcing the agreement of this Defence and Security Declaration. This declaration seeks to remove previous ambiguity around the nature of the relationship between New Zealand and the Cook Islands, especially as it pertains to defence and security and the level and nature of consultation required between us on key strategic matters. We are very pleased to have agreed to the declaration and thank Prime Minister Brown and his government for the flexible, constructive approach they took to negotiations on it. Now that we have achieved clarity about the nature of our relationship, the Cook Islands New Zealand partnership will return swiftly to previous good health. As an aside, not a moment too soon because the problem's getting harder. The global environment we face today is more complex and challenging than at any point since 1965. Given the scale of the challenges we face, it's only right that New Zealand and the Cook Islands face them together. And so we're very pleased that with the signing of the declaration we can now look to the future with restored confidence and renewed purpose. You know, when things get problematic, things go wrong, when they go off track, there's an old Maori saying that we welcome you to pick up. You probably came from the Cook Islands in the first place. Not like the seagull, tossing and turning its head in every wave, but like the rock, steadfast against the surging sea. And so having put our mind to it, and worked through the night, you can say, Ka'au, Ka'au, Ka'au Awatea. It's dawn, it's day. Your time.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. I now invite a representative from Cook Islands News. Please, if I could invite both Minister Peters and our Honourable Prime Minister to come back up to the podium as we invite the press to present their two questions to you. So starting with Cook Islands News, Raj, if you're in the house, if you can present your question first, and then we will ask our sister Barbara Drever from Aotearoa to present on behalf of the New Zealand media team. Yeah.
Your Honor, I speak from Cook Islands News. Welcome to Mr. Peters. Question to both of you. This has been going on for a year, as all of you said, and stemmed from a misunderstanding, I guess, or different understanding of the joint centennial declaration. My question is, what is the lessons learned by both leaders from this whole thing, and how to work to fix this, such issues arise in the future? Thank you.
Well, if I can answer first, the relationship with New Zealand, between New Zealand and Cook Islands, is long-standing and enduring. This declaration that we've signed today sets a framework for cooperation and collaboration between our two countries, in particular addressing areas of concern that we share, which is security and defence. So we're very happy to build on an already strong relationship and now take it to another level to strengthen and look at future opportunities between our two countries. So I have to say I'm very, very happy and very pleased with the declaration that we've just signed as a framework now for our future engagement as two countries.
So where's the journalist gone? We're going to stay in the same place. That's a very good question you ask. You know something? You give many answers, but we are in the blue continent, at 31% of the world's surface. It's our front yard. But nevertheless, distance creates difficulty sometimes. Thousands of kilometres of it. And we conceptually boys believed in Kamoi, face to face. Maybe we weren't meeting enough times, talking enough times, sharing enough things. But that's how the conclusion I could come to.
That means either he's coming here more often or I'm going there more often. It has to coincide with important cultural events like the Warriors' home games and major events.
Thank you. I now invite our representative from the New Zealand Media, Patrick, please, to present your question.
Prime Minister Mark Brown first. How retrospective is this new defence and security declaration on past agreements the Cook Islands have signed, namely the ones with China? And how does it affect those agreements, and are there moves underway to readdress those agreements with China?
As I pointed out in my speech, our engagement with New Zealand in terms of security and defence goes back 120 years to the First World War. The 1964 Constitution Act of New Zealand has a line that subscribes New Zealand's responsibility for the defence of the Cook Islands. This declaration that we've signed today clearly articulates the responsibilities of both of our countries in terms of the collective defence and security of the Cook Islands and New Zealand. And I think it goes a long way to recognising the Cook Islands' own contributions in the past and really clarifying very clearly to each other our roles and responsibilities in this regard. And it provides a huge opportunity now for the Cook Islands and New Zealand to work in collaboration on certain key areas. And it is this that I really look forward to in the coming months and the coming years. We've set a foundation for those who come after us to know how we're going to work with each other as two nations.
Prime Minister, you didn't answer my question. How does this affect the deals you've signed with China?
Well, this declaration is about security and defence across our region, and I'm confident that the provisions we have in this declaration will address any concerns that may have occurred in the past, and will certainly address any concerns moving forward.
Can I just say, look, it's an amazing thing that we look around the Pacific because of its tranquility, born of its name. But out there in that ocean today, 17 things called dark horse. Out of sight, out of mind. They cost a fortune. But they have this effect. If there is this a volcanic eruption anywhere in this part of the world, underwater these detection utilities, 17 of them, to warn the Pacific of the potential for tsunami and the likely time it's going to hit you. Now that's a huge investment. And then we've got the military from New Zealand who are doing naval visits. We've also used Air Force engagements at this point in time. We've also got boats out there that are actually robotic, they've got no yachts with no sailors on them. going around and finding out critical information of our part of the world. And so there's a lot of things that we're doing, and there'll be a lot more coming into the future. But how shall I say it? If everybody thinks the Cook Islands just signed up to go with New Zealand, we're heading off to the Middle East war, they couldn't be more wrong. That's not what it's about. And they do have an RSA here.
Very good one. Well, gentlemen, thank you, Prime Minister and Mr. Winston Peters. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to answer those questions from our media. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the formal signing and of the declaration. I'd like to thank you all again for accepting the invitations. Gentlemen, you went over. Thank you. Please take your seats. The formal proceedings are now complete. We invite you to join us for brunch as we celebrate this occasion. Now, for many of us, the original signing of the agreements between us and New Zealand was done before our time, or at least most of our time, and I'm just truly blessed that we've been a part of this declaration and the signing of this. To our friends from Aotearoa, you've come a long way. You have managed to retrace your steps back home, and we thank you for taking the opportunity to join us this morning. And as you leave with our regards, please return this to our people in Aotearoa, both the Cook Islanders living in that homeland, as well as our whānau who are living in Aotearoa. May I please now invite our orowito, please, Eramaina Awe Akoti, I tā tātou ana ngā roto I te puri.
Ka kore tātou ki te atua. Kia ka mita ki ia koe e tō mātou mitua tapu. No te ia te tupu I roto I te ia pōpongu. I roto pū I tō mātou kawamani kuki ārani. E pera katoa e kawamani o Aotearoa. Mei taki rānu nui e te atua. No tā au aratakianga. No te au arataki I roto e tō mātou nei Basilea. Tā rātou e umumu nei, tā rātou e kimi nei. E mei taki no tō nei I titanaka e tō mātou Basilea. Tā rāua I rawe e te atua. Tā rāua I akatika nā roto e te tainaanga I te ao kōreromotu. Nā au e te atua e akatapu mai I te reira. I roto I tō na ingoa tō te metua no te tamaiti e no te wairua tapu. Te toenga o te anganga te karawe ia e te atua. Waitata mai no te katoa tō rawa e tai uatu. Ki te maanga te ia ka teatea momoa ia e I kai nā mātou. Ia ka maruru, ia ka mātutu, tō mātou oranga kopapa. I orara tō mātou wairua I a koe e tō mātou atu e Iesu. Ka no e I rātou mātou I roto I te ia rā. E tai uatu ki te tuatou e a karuke mātou I te ia mutuare. E mana atua, e tiaki e te pāruru. No mātou kātou toa, no o te mana, no o te kakā, no o te tapunui I tēnei, e tuatau uatu. Amen.
To Baila, I will allow the team from Tamarind please to